All right, let's go over the EPs for this week. Um, it's week two after this was the Fed week, and so after Wednesday, there's always a ton of um, earnings reports, and with that, you get a ton of EPs. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video than normal. I've got 14 on my list. So starting with what I think was the best one, that's SIMO, and let me do that. So this one gapped up 30%. Semiconductor had really good earnings, triple digit earnings in both revenue and EPS. 163% year over year EPS, 21% surprise, 105% revenue year over year, and a 14% surprise. Yeah, like I said, gapped up 30%. The volume was really good, and it gapped over a ton of recent price action, and it had solid follow through. Next one on the list, let's see, ACCO. This one not as good as of a chart, not as good not as good of an earnings report, but still a good earnings report. It had 200% year over year EPS growth with a 140% surprise. The revenue was not special, but it gapped up 7%, and on the day today, it was up 13% since open. Next one is GKOS. Another one not as good. It did have a long tail here, about 6.5% from open. Earnings report was just okay. It did have a 41% revenue growth, and as you can see, it's kind of slightly accelerating, just a solid growth profile. Volume was not great, but it was good, and it was gapping over recent price action of the last year or so. Um, I would say if we weren't in such a good market, this one would not be like probably it probably would have failed, right? It probably would have failed and not continued higher, but we're in a really, really good market. As you can see, we're above the 10 and the 20 day. We're sloping higher and we're trending. It's on the SPY, the Q, and IWM. So everything's really moving higher. All EPs feel like they're working. All good EPs are going much higher, and there's speculation in the market. Next one is Generac. Uh, this one again wouldn't really be a likely candidate to move higher because the earnings weren't super great, but it did move higher because the market is moving higher. Did have a nice chart, kind of this nice base here, gapped up. The gap was 11% and it moved up 7.3%. Now, with that, all these stocks that have average earnings, once we get a market pullback, they're going to go under their lows. So, stocks that don't have significant earnings, this Generac compared to SIMO, SIMO is going to hold its gains, or it's likelier to hold its gains. Nothing's guaranteed. Next one is GTX. Let's see, did I have that on my list? Okay, GTX. Again, average earnings 63% year over year. 12% revenue growth. Not a huge surprise, but it still made a big move. It's 22% move. Next one is MRAM, gapped up 37%. Semiconductors, they've been hot. Um, Gapping over recent price action. Volume was really good. Had nice follow through of 21%, 22%. The EPS was 450% year over year, and the revenue was 14%. Solid earnings report, nothing out of this world. The EPS was really good, but nothing out of this world, and yet it still goes 21% higher. And I don't know, probably close to all-time highs. Let's see. Yeah, close to all-time highs. All right, next one on the list, NVCR. NVCR. Another one. Um, is this good earnings? No, it's not good earnings. And yet we're still moving higher. Everything is so much easier when the market looks like this. Now, what do I expect if the market's to pull back? Again, I expect it to go below its lows. Next one is FIVN. So with the market moving higher, what you start to get is you start to get themes. FIVN is a theme that relates to a software as a service um, company. So a new theme that popped up this week was um, basically like uh, AI voice and call centers. Basically using AI. AI, the voice has gotten so good that it almost sounds like human. So they can start companies can start to use it as basically um, as opposed to texting, they can call, a customer up. Um, so that theme has been kind of prevalent within the market this week. So 5N is a cloud call center software company. It reported earnings and it's like AI voice assistant is like a big theme right now. So it gapped up, went 12%. So there's a few of these stocks. Band, huge earnings, or not earnings, but um, huge move off of earnings. Let's see if I can find that one. Yeah, this one's Band. Didn't have great earnings, but it mentioned that you know, the AI voice thing is going to be huge. It was a really, um, like a really, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? It's generated a lot of excitement, you know. They're saying this is going to be huge, kind of a thing. And it's up 43%. Everyone's always looking for the next theme. The next theme is probably going to be AI data center or AI call centers. So you had Band, you had Twilio, you had Nice, and you had 5N all within this theme. All right, so those are the EPs for this week. Thanks for watching.